hello, RJB here. Today, we have a match between Hamburgersasu, whose name I couldn't entirely fit into the bar. Also, I haven't updated the bar there on the top. I completely forgot. I updated everything else except that bar on the top. So let's have that added out into something like best of 7. Because I think this is the best of 7. Because there's a lot of replays. There's like a lot of them. So I assume this is the best of 7. It could be a best of 9. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's just a long string of matches that are smaller sets. But I'm not too sure. Honestly, not too sure. So yeah, Hamburgersasu against Bombi. We haven't seen Bombi much on the channel, but he's actually a pretty strong 1v1 player. He has also played in the SCW League in the West, on the Western map, a couple of years ago, and he did quite well. He honestly did really well. I wouldn't say he's on the level of Voss or Libaku, but he's close. He's almost up there. He's almost up there. Here we've got him on the Protoss, the red Protoss against the blue Zerg, piloted and used by Hamburgersasu. And the introduction song has played its part, so let's just fade that out. I jump over to the game sound itself. There's the music. The music has returned. Hamburgersasu, as I mentioned before, here on the bottom side of the map, up against his opponent on the top side of the map. It is a mirror spawning location. And he's scouting towards... well, he's scouting the chokes. He's just scouting the chokes. He's not scouting the sides here, because he's assuming that if he scouts the sides with the probe, he's wasting time. Instead, he's being as efficient as he can. And he would have scouted those side spawns here with the zealots that are spawning. So first send the faster unit, the probe, towards the middle spawns and just look for the chokes and see if there's a hatchery in there. And then you send your zealots to the spawn locations right next to you, which might catch your opponent by surprise because they haven't been scouted yet, so they might maybe not even have prepared sufficient amounts of defensive measures. But in this case, he knows something is on the way because he got scouted pretty early on. He's trying to do some harassment and be annoying with the probe, but the probe is now forced to run away. Zealot is on the way, but it will arrive a little bit too late. Because we've got Zerglings on the way, and we've got Sunkens also being thrown up. Zealot there is going to try to sneak in and maybe get some drone kills, get some damage on the drones. That's his only purpose. Sneak in, catch some drones. But the Zerglings have arrived, and the Zerglings are ready to keep that Zealot away from those very, very weak drones. So that's going to be working out perfectly fine. He's doing a great job there, microing and controlling his workers and his Zealot there, though, to avoid damage. But the Zealots, the probe is going to get caught out there. It gets caught, it escapes, and it gets killed nonetheless in the end. Another probe there arrived in the front to start up that block for the proxy robotic facilities here on the middle of the map. A little bit too close, that cannon gets taken down by a Sunken shot immediately. That's 150 minerals dead and gone for Bombi there. Another cannon there on the way. Gonna try to build that contain, but Hamburgersasu very quickly throws down a creep colony to try and push forward and stop this contain from happening. But I don't think that's gonna work because the cannon here will finish before the Sunken will finish. He's gonna try it anyway though. He's gonna try to build a second Sunken right next to it. Managed to kill the Zealot there back at home. But gas on the way here, so he's already got a side recorder there also on the way. In the end, the Sunken there goes down and the creep colony gets cancelled. So not really gonna do much there either. There was a pause. I hope that the game doesn't corrupt, because sometimes a pause when a lot of text appears, the game can break and become unusual. Remember, the game here starts very, very well for Hamburgersasu. He didn't really suffer any damages, didn't get slowed down whatsoever. Maybe he got slowed down a little bit by himself because his overlords were a little bit slow, like a very small window of time where they should have already finished. But that is considering he built more Sunkens than usual, built more Zerglings than usual. That is, of course, to be expected. Bombi here is kind of playing an all-in dual order as he didn't add on a second Nexus yet. And he's not going to yet. He might though, because he's saving up some minerals, but I do feel he's gonna go all in on just a single Robo Reaver push, maybe a double Robo Reaver push with Zealot speed, because that's why he's got the Citadel of Dune on the way, and that is also why he's adding on more gateways. He's got one Dragoon finished up here to kill that Overlord to prevent scouting, because if Hamburgersasu finds out it is only a single Nexus, Hamburgersasu will somewhat know what to expect, but also what his chances are to go for a very early counter-attack. Because the great risk that you take when going for a single Nexus build order is that if you don't damage or kill your opponent very quick, very soon, you are going to be behind in the amount of workers you have, the amount of income that's coming in, and, well, the amount of army you can produce, or the amount of containment you can build with the minerals that you simply don't have. So there's the support bay there on the middle, shuttle finishes. Zealots are being located to the side, but it might get spotted out by an Overlord there. Oh, barely. He didn't get spotted by the Overlord, but now he gets spotted out there. The den is already finished. He's got some Zergers, got a Sunken in the back there as well. That should definitely help him with surviving this liftover of all those Zealots to try and circumvent and avoid the Sunkens in the front. Because why try to fight the Sunkens in the front when you can just shuttle units in and try to deal damage behind enemy lines inside the enemy base without those pesky Sunkens slowing you down or damaging your units. So the Hydras tries to get some damage down, tries to bait those Zealots in just in case they're not, just in case Bombi is not being that good with his multitasking. Goes for the attack there. The Reaver has finished, so Reaver there with 2 Zealots inside that shuttle is going to try to get some drone kills there. He's going to come in from the right side. Hamburgersasu hasn't started to run away yet because he doesn't think there's a Reaver in there, but Reaver unloads. Reaver gets a shot off on the Hydras. Tries to take down the shuttle. Reaver gets picked up there though. Reaver still right next. Ooh, the Zealot speed has just finished in time. And now the game is becoming very, very dangerous and difficult for Hamburgersasu because he's going to have to fight against the Reaver inside the shuttle. And his drones are right in the line of fire. Takes out a bunch of them. Takes out another 2 of them. I think that's already about 7 or 8 or 9 drone kills. And there's no Hydras left here back at home because he's not got no gas. A couple of Hydras are spawning. More drones are being taken down. And he's almost lost all of his drones. He only has about 12 left out of the 30 that he used to have. The game is looking very bad here, and the all-in strategy approach there from Bombi is really paying off really, really well. Hamburgersasu was close, so close to just succeeding and holding that without issue, but being unable to take down the Reaver or the shuttle really cemented the success recipe for Bombi. It's a very successful play there with great control, great planning. Everything finished exactly on time, and all the units arrived exactly on time. This tells you that Bombi has a lot of experience, but also a very great understanding of this build order. Everything is intricately timed, and everything is difficult, very difficult to play against. If anything is even slightly off, and as I said before in this match, Hamburgersasu was a couple seconds, maybe 10 seconds off with his Overlords, got slowed down a little bit, and his Hydras were a little bit off in timing. This everything slowly stacks up. Small little differences, small little mistakes, small little choices that might either work out in your favor or against you. And this game is a great example where everything is going exactly as Bombi wants it to, and Hamburgersasu is getting pushed further and further with his back against the wall. Zealots are just running him over as the level 1 weapon attack has finished, and he decided to go in with the attack, and the Zealot speed there is just breaking through everything without much issue. And the level 1 attack on those Zealots is completely tearing through those Hydras. But Hamburgersasu is very quickly and early already forced to call the GG, and Bombi takes home the W in a really quick and extremely well executed Protoss against Zerg in the very first match of the day. Let's move over to score chart and update that score because we need to throw a win in there for our player Bombi. That's 1 win for Bombi. Wait, no, that's Hamburger. I think something is not correct here with the settings. So there, Bombi gets a win. I have to switch something around here in my list of things, but that might screw things up. Like in the recorder program that I use, you can add in little visual displays, but I labeled one of them incorrectly, or actually I labeled I think I labeled one of them incorrectly, and that is why the score just now appeared in Hamburgersasu's box instead of Bombi's box. Something I have to fix sometime. Not yet, sometime. See, if I start doing things like that now, I might just completely screw everything up. Back to the match. We got Hamburgersasu right next to Bombi. And Bombi here is on the brown Protoss. Once again on the Protoss, and Hamburgersasu is now on the red Terran on the bottom side of the map. Right next to each other. And Hamburgersasu usually has a bit more success on the Terran, although his Zerg is usually also very, very strong. But if things go wrong early and your Zerg against Protoss, the chances of making a comeback are very, very, very small. Terran is a little bit more on par with Protoss. I wouldn't say it's 50-50 because that would be plain wrong. It's more like 55-45 at this level of play, where the Terran has a significantly good shot at winning against the Protoss, whereas the Zerg against the Protoss, that's kind of a lopsided matchup, statistically speaking. Zerg tends to lose, but Terran against Protoss, the Terrans of this level that we see here on the Korean map, in the Korean scene, the Korean community, their Terrans are so strong that the traditional odds of the Protoss just winning 80% no longer really apply. It's closer to 55 for Protoss, 45 for Terran, in terms of who has the highest chance to win the game. And that makes this a very exciting match here, because Hamburgersasu always explosive and decisive, but sometimes also very arrogant, sometimes also too risky. He's decisive, but his choices, even though decisive, are risky. He likes threading on the edge. Sometimes he falls over and falls into the ravine. Sometimes things work out well. This time around, it looks like things are going to work out perfectly fine, because he's going to find this choke here, the pylon, without a single cannon on the way, a single cannon finished to protect his base, while his Marine is already out and his SCV also already arrived on the scene. Marine number 2 and 3 spawning just now, and Marine number 1 walking into that pathway to take down those cannons. The cannon's already about 30% done with finishing. A lot of probes being pulled, This is way more probes than we usually see. Usually it's like 4 or 5, but he's pulling 7 probes in total to stop this rush here. Because if he doesn't stop this rush, he's going to lose those cannons, and once those cannons are gone, Hamburgersasu, historically speaking, empirically speaking, tends to do very, very well against the Protoss that doesn't have a choke. But right here, though, I do think that he's got this covered, although he did lose 4 of his probes to defend this front, but also we saw 3 SCVs, well, 2 SCVs go down there. And in the end, the bunker rush does fail, it does get stopped, but he took down a cannon and 4 probes, lost a bunker, 1 Marine, and 2 SCVs. Maybe, yeah, 2 SCVs, I think it was 2 SCVs. Well, in the end, though, we now resume with the program as it was intended. Because Bombi lost some income, lost some probes, he's forced to adapt into a suboptimal build order. And Hamburgersasu is just going to make one of his risky, decisive choices. Lift up those barracks, fly them across the hill, and start making some fire bats, because we have an academy there on the way. Though the academy won't finish yet. The fire bats won't have stim upgrade yet. But they will land and arrive on destination just safe and sound. And I expect there to be a round of fire bats coming in pretty soon. Actually, the timing is exactly right. Goes on the pylon to redirect this one barrack to slow down their production and buy himself a little bit more time, as that cannon there is on the way. But he needs a second one. There's a large open hole here on the bottom side, wide open area for those fire bats to run in from and hit those probes. Got Zealous there, gonna try to intercept the fire bat. Fire bat's gonna run around and run in. But the cannon finishes, he can't go in, but another one has spawned as well. This one's gonna try to go in for the bottom side, but no, he's gonna wait a little while longer. And wait for 2 more fire bats to finish, and wait for his stim upgrade to finish. He's gonna dance around. The Zealots there are gonna try to kill the fire bat. The fire bats are very strong against the Zealots, but Bombi has to commit to the fight. He has to buy himself time. Cannon number 2 now, they're also on the way. Fire bats are destroying the Zealots. He's even microing them quite well. Dragoon spawns there. Dragoon is very strong against the Fire bats. Fire bats are going to run to the north side. While at home he's building a factory, a second command center, and 2 more barracks. So he is not forsaking his base while he's trying to distract and annoy Bombi. Goes in from the left side. Probes have nowhere left to run. One cannon there, not sufficient to take this down. And he does take down both of the probes, the fire bats, with the help of the probes attacking the fire bats. And in the end, doesn't really lose anything whatsoever. One medic there, also on the scene, still microing this like a boss. Gonna try to keep them all alive. One wounded on the bottom side to keep fire bats away. Two fire bats going to the bottom side. Gonna try to run. One is sitting on the top side. This one on the bottom side is gonna try to arrive on destination. Gonna get on top of the probe. The probes stay alive. Well, he's only facing a loss of 7 probes, but he keeps them alive. Barely though, because that was very close to getting a third fire bat attack off on those probes. Very close. So in the end, he doesn't really yield any fruits from that attack. But what he did achieve is a lot of annoyment, a lot of harassment, and forcing Bombi into a build order he didn't want to do. He had to spend money on dragoons, had to spend money on more cannons than he wanted to, doesn't have robos yet, even though we're already almost 6 minutes in. And if there's no robos, well, we won't be seeing shuttle drops anytime soon. He's gonna adapt though by going for Dark Templars. That is a realistic option he has right now, but he only has a single gateway. And on a single gateway, you can't make that many Dark Templars. We have an engineering bay there already finished, and a scan also finished here back at home. Marine range there on the way. Went for 5 barracks in total, because as I've mentioned sometimes before in the past, on the 6th spawn location, there are a lot of directions enemies can come from with shuttles or with whatever you can imagine. Like there's the top side, there's the top left side, and there's the left side, the right side, the top right side, and as I said before, the top side. 5 total directions enemies can come from, as opposed to being on a middle spawn location where there's the top right here, the top, and the right side. So only 3 sides, so logically speaking, you would only need about 3 barracks to produce enough marines to keep all those shuttles and units out of your base. But being on this 6th spawn location, the bottom middle of the map, you need more marines to cover a wider and bigger area. So Bombi here foresees that he's going to need a proxy gateway base, given the fact that Hamburgersasu can place tanks right here on the side or up on the hill to annoy Bombi and make it difficult for him to move his units into the middle and attack from the front. That's a wise choice from Bombi. We're seeing that that is going to be a problem for him in the future. But first, he's focusing on getting all the robos he needs, getting the support bay as well for shuttle speed and reavers and reaver damage upgrade. He got storms are on the way, Templars are finishing and on the way as well. First shuttle finishes, support bay finishes, so graphitic boosters will soon be on the way. Oh, tank drop there on the side, on the way, gonna unload, they're gonna start dropping on top of those probes, gets a shot off, kills 16 probes dead and gone, and got another 6 there at the end, so a total of 22 probes dead and gone. Hamburgersasu once again gets a punch off on his opponent before Bombi can even retaliate on that very first punch that Hamburgersasu threw out at him just earlier. This half that Corsair now finished though, and the shuttle is also somewhere. A shuttle is flying in a circle across the map. Let's see what's in there. A Templar, 2 Zealots. That's a recipe for a good drop. He's preparing a second drop to fly in from both sides at the same time. But Hamburgersasu's got the engineering bay there up on the hill and marines ready to snipe. He's got marines all around his command center so he can cover every single direction. Another tank drop there flying out of his base, but might get spotted out by this single Dark Templar. So maybe there's a chance Bombi knows it's on the way. Bombi didn't add many more cannons, but I do think he should be fine. I do think he should be fine here. Although he might not be actually. He might not be, because 2 cannons here on the top side. On further thought, that might not be sufficient to kill the tanks quick enough. But first we might see a drop coming in from both sides. No! The tank drop arrives first. Tank drop trucks unload. Both tanks there ready to siege up. One gets shot off. That one gets 6. Only gets 6. Shuttle comes in from the left side, the right side, but it gets taken down by the turret pretty quick because the vision from the engineering bay increases the range the turret can shoot. Because you can see right here, it's a hill, and the turret cannot see upon the hill, so you need vision upon the hill in order to extend the turret range. Another drop there, flying to the right side once again. That's a Corsair. This is a Dark Templar scouting the map, looking for stuff to kill, and there's a Marine here. He knew the Marine was there because he saw it earlier. But so far, the game is not going too well for Bombi. He's always a step behind the Hamburgersasu, who's really starting to speed up right now. He's really starting to speed up. The drop there is ready to go in. Corsair ready to assist and fly it in. But there's Marines here, and Marines are pretty strong against shuttles, being able to take them down with a single stim. Just bam, bam, beela boom, bam, and gone is the shuttle. 2 Templars in there though. All drop comes in from the right side first. It's Zealots and Templars who try to storm units to death. So while this distraction is happening, he might send in the drop from the right side. And yes, he is. Drop comes in from the right side while Hamburgersasu is distracted. But he notices it. He notices it without much issue. Takes it down and prevents the loss of anything, really. He's still building up slowly, 62 SCVs, base getting bigger and bigger, slowly but surely. Same here for Bombi. He stopped building his base there on the top side though. Got spotted out, I feel, because he's running to the top side to scout. Well, he scouted every single base, so he's just scouting the bases, and he might find this proxy base there, which hasn't really been built on or utilized all that much. Another drop there comes in from the left side. There starts shooting. Hamburgersasu doesn't really have to run away. He's running away with his SCVs there. Though Storm's on a lot of stuff. A lot of Marines there go down. A Reaper got taken down before he could really achieve anything. And the 5 barracks in total are really paying off, because these Marines are preventing any counter punches from Bombi from actually connecting. Another drop there coming in from the left side once again. Starts to load. There's a Templar in there. 2 Templars in fact. Templar gets taken. Gets sniped. He snipes the Templar with the Marines, clicks on it, takes it down before it can storm. A risky move, a risky move, but it does prevent you from pulling off the SCVs from your mineral stack, and that means no lost mining time, always worth it. But it does take a hefty amount of skill to be that fast to stop the storm from happening by targeting the Templar. Hamburgersasu now on a massive supply lead. He's big enough and confident enough to move out. Only a couple Marines left back at home, and he's just gonna break down the front door without much issue whatsoever, almost no opposition. The tank drops that he kept throwing out have achieved their goal. He slowed down Bombi significantly, bought himself so much time that Bombi honestly couldn't do all that much, except try to land the drop, but the drop never connected. He's building a proxy gateway base here though to try and save the day, to go in with an attack from behind. But given that he's already losing his main base this fast, I don't think that's gonna really do all that much. Maybe some Reaver Shuttle Micro can save the day there, because they are strong against Marines, but the Marines there, oh, he unloads too close! Oh, great Micro there though, keeps the Reaver alive for long enough. Reaver there gets taken down eventually, a couple Marines there get taken down as well. Shuttle also gets taken down, there's the defensive medic there on the tank, and he wins the game there in 13 minutes, 12 seconds, and, well, 13 seconds. But it was a very convincing Terran against Protoss. Bombi usually, from the replays I've seen, does have a very solid Protoss, and this game he just got harassed so much. Usually it is the other way around. The Protoss gets harassed by the Terran, but this is Hamburgersasu that we're watching. And as we all know, Hamburgersasu can turn the tables and flip them around very quick. If you even just give him an inch, he will take your hand, your arm, and end your life with a very, very nasty slobber knocker to the jaw and take home the win. As we saw right there. Quick and precise. Quick and precise is what I want to call that game. That's a win there for Hamburgersasu. The score is 1-1. I think this is the best of 7, as I've said before. I'm still not sure, but just gonna have to gamble on it. That's one of the downsides of not wanting to get spoiled. I don't want to watch these replays first and know what the end result is going to be. That would just be straight up boring. So let's do replay number 3. I think I'm going to segment this series into 2 or 3 parts, because the later replays are very long. They're very long. That I do know, because I can see the game duration but I'm selecting the replays. And they're very long, so I might really have to split this up into a two-part series, two-video part series. So Bombi, still on the Protoss, here on the bottom left of the map, on the yellow Protoss there, once again, and Hamburgersasu returns on the Zerg, the orange Zerg. Now this time around, I hope for Hamburgersasu that things are going to play out a little bit better for him. Unlike the very first game where he got torn apart by Bombi's Protoss in it, Protoss against Zerg. It was a very precise and nice build order from Bombi. A risky build order in my opinion, but if you can manage to connect all the punches, it is just a deadly, deadly combination. It just comes together like a puzzle where all the pieces fall into place and the end picture is satisfying and beautiful to behold. For this game, he's doing something different. Not going for a single Nexus, but he's going for a double Nexus, opening into a forge, well, a gateway, into a forge, into another gateway, and a cannon. He's playing this one very defensively. A very early cannon there to protect his minerals, because there's Zerglings out on the map, and if you've got Zerglings, you might as well try to get some harassment down on your opponent. So that's why there's a cannon, and that's why there's a Zealot. Number 3 there also on the way. Cybercore there getting thrown down just in the nick of time. Zerglings going every single direction on the map. Very smart thing to do. Just scout everything at once. Find your opponent, pull them all back into a group, and go for the attack. Go for the attack. Yeah, mostly just building Zealots. He's going to go for a lot of Zealots very early on and get probably speed with Reavers. I think he's going to do the same thing he did in the first game. Conceptually speaking, of course. Not the same build order, but conceptually speaking. He's going to go for Reavers with Zealot speed to support them and maybe shuttle in some units. Although his shuttle might be a little bit slower than in the first game. We're going to try to catch that Zealot, the probe there, but the micro there from Hamburgersasu is pretty on point, but Bombi also not too shabby with keeping that probe alive, dancing around, trying to get the cannon down there. He gets 2 cannons out there, but the probe there, he phases it through by clicking on the minerals in his own base. But the Zerglings are still on the hunt. Oh, he gets it in the end. A small victory for Hamburgersasu, but the cannons got secured. He's keeping those Zerglings in between the pylon and the cannons and the base. They can maybe intercept another probe. But Bombi smartly adds a Dragoon, and the Dragoon might be able to take down those Zerglings as they are running in circles, which the Zealots can't do. He might try to sneak them back into his base or just put them there up on the side here for vision. He kills another probe because he could see it with the Overlord. Ah, so nasty. Great awareness, once again. Slows Bombi down. Bombi has to pull another probe from the mineral stack and send it to the middle. And the Zerglings are still alive, still dancing around. The Dragoon is very slowly trying to kill them, but not really achieving much. Bombi smartly makes a wall to keep those Zerglings in and secure the probe's life. I like this. I like it a lot. The Hamburgersasu is playing kind of risky here, going for 5 extra hatcheries in total before getting his gas. He only gets a single gas. He might get a second gas, but his Hydralisk Den is going to be somewhat delayed. Oh, this is essential. This is essential. Let me explain this one. The Zerglings here are essential because these Zealots can walk through this small little pathway right here. They can walk through it. The Zerglings are there to stop them from happening. Like you can see it right here. The drone can walk through up until this point where the Zerglings are blocking the passage. He's rallying towards this passage so that he doesn't really have to actively place units there. Every time units spawn, they stand inside the passage. It's a smart way of blocking those Zealots out of his base. Though now the Zealots are going to try to get in, but he doesn't try. He doesn't try to click beyond the Sunkens, he clicks in front of the Sunkens just to check up, because he doesn't expect there to be an opening, even though right now there is an opening. But all it takes for Hamburgersasu is just to move these Zerglings up here, down there, and it's blocked off. So we got Zealot Speed, a level 1 attack on the way. Zealot Speed is very close to finishing here. Seconds away. Weapon attack, not yet there, but should be about another 15 or 20 seconds before that one arrives. Double Reaver, no shuttles this time. No shuttles because he knows his robotics was slower than before. So it maybe is worth it to not make a shuttle and shuttle units into the enemy base. So it's better to just get Reavers straight up and start massing Reavers to break down that front door and barge into Hamburgersasu's base. Hamburgersasu now on an extra 7 macro hatches there in the back. One in the front there, and one there as the main. He's got 3 gas. He's really coming along. He's quite rich. He went for 50 drones in total before making a single Hydralisk. Now, of course, losing some drones to the Evo chambers there for upgrades. He's got got speed on the way. No Hydralisk range yet. You can see all this here on the middle with the Overlord. He knows what Bombi is up to. Let me just show it right there. He knows what Bombi is up to. The Reavers start the push. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 10 Sunkens in the front. Not a lot of Sunkens. But Hamburgersasu just started mass producing his Hydralisks. Because with all those drones, he's got a lot of money coming into the bank. Bombi was also kind of mirroring that by adding on a lot of gateways. Got Templar's Archive there as well, but isn't really making drops yet. It's just keeping on making Reavers. Only on double Robo there though, but that's because he only has 2 gas. He only has 2 gas there back at home, and he stopped making probes for a little while. So he's going all in here with this attack. He's betting all his life, all his earnings, all his wits on this one frontal attack. There's a lot of Zealots there breaking through. The Reavers there are slowly crawling forward, and this might actually, once again, just do the trick. This is very difficult to hold. Those Zealots with level 1 attack are absolutely demolishing those Hydralisks. And maybe Hamburgersasu played it a little bit too risky by not having a lot of Sunkens here in the front. There's a lot of creeps there, but oh, there's so many units, just so many units. Bombi apparently really is an expert on the Protoss. As you can see right here, he knows exactly what he's doing. His macro was really good. Really good. Hamburgersasu tries to nestle himself in a small little bottleneck where the Zealots cannot break through, but the amount of Zealots is so high. There's almost 100 supply difference. The Reavers are crawling forward as well, and once the Reavers arrive, there's no saving this. Reaver shoots on the Sunken, not on the drones, though, but the drones are forced to run away. More Hydras are spawning as we speak, but more Zealots are coming from back at home, ready to crawl across the map and start the attack. So, yeah, this is a brutal slaughter. This is such a difficult build order, and you only need 2 gas. Only need 2 gas. The probe count might look low, only 52, but do note, of those 52 probes, we have 1 here on the middle. We've got 1 here building a base, so there's 50 of them left. Of which 6 are on the gas. That leaves 44. Then we've got this one there standing next to the minerals, so we've got 43 probes mining minerals. Which is actually quite a good number. Because most of the time, we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gas. Which is a total of 21 probes. So now we're on 52 probes, and we'd have to add another 12 at least. Or maybe even more. Well, we have to add another 15. So we'd end up at about 67, and 67 towards 75 is an acceptable probe range to be within. So even though his probe count is on 52, he knew what he was doing, because he didn't need many more. His mineral income was in a nice place. And if this attack didn't succeed, if he didn't kill Hamburgersasu, you could just start producing probes once again and aim for the 70 mark, add on some gas, and keep up the production, and keep up the pressure. Well, this is very well thought out. Every single bit of his minerals was going towards making those Zealots and some Templars, and just making sure he can break through. And all the gas he had was going towards very little tech that he used and had. But this is a strong build order. I'm impressed. I've seen it before many times, but not many times have I seen it done on so little gas and executed so simply but effectively. So, Bombi, I am somewhat impressed. But once again, Hamburgersasu loses on the Zerg, and Bombi wins against the Zerg. That's the video for today. 3 short matches. but only because the next matches that we'll be getting are longer matches. I hope I don't spoil anything, but they are longer matches. And that's why I'm splitting up this video into 2 or maybe even 3 parts. This is basically going to be a video series that might span over the entire next 7 days. Maybe. Not gonna say it will, but there is a chance that this will be the week of Hamburgersasu against Bombi. And also on that note, I've started thinking about going back to longer full best of sets and formatting them in such a way that I can do 1 or 2 games in one video and make the entire series stretch out over a week. That way, there is somewhat of an overarching storyline over the week with a satisfying conclusion near the end. Instead of just randomly picking games and randomly segmenting them or not segmenting them and making long videos. I think keeping things short and powerful might be the best way to move forward with how I format my videos and how I basically create weekly episodes. I think that's basically the thing. But I will, about every 2 days, or 3 days, maybe 4 days, I don't know. It depends. But I will aim for making a video every 2 days at least. But thanks for watching. It was RJB for RJB TV. Hamburgersasu against Bombi will continue in the next episode here on RJB TV. Thanks for watching.